People are coming from far and from wide with one simple question. And that question is what? What, Charlie, are the top 3 stocks for this week? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 3 stocks for this week. But first, let's go ahead and talk about last week's plays. Okay, so numero uno. Last Sunday, we talked about Workhorse. I reiterated my price target of $50 and stressed the need to buy dips. We got another dip later in the week and ended up finishing a decent amount higher. My price target on this one is still $50. I still believe in buying the dips on this play. Numero dos. Last Sunday, we talked about NEO. Kneel for Neo, folks. Talked about hoping for some bad delivery numbers so that we could get some selling off, but we actually ended up getting pretty good delivery numbers. I think that Neo is really starting to earn its valuation, but it's still doing a whole lot of nothing right now, so let's see when this wakes up. Okay, last Sunday we also talked about day trading the UVXY, SVXY pair. SVXY consistently uptrended nicely last week, and obviously with inverse pairs, one is always going to uptrend, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is highlight the opportunity in trading these. We talked about lovely Mara. Mara is our Bitcoin mining stock. We were screaming dip by this guy down here, and it's been trending up very nicely. I was really excited for Mara's open tomorrow because Bitcoin had rallied above 40,000 for the first time in a little while, and that could have meant a huge and quick breakout of Mara, but then Bitcoin cooled off a bit. It looks to be picking up again, but we'll see what happens. Jumia is still trading a bit over 100% up since our dip buy call out. My price target on this one remains $90. Any dip on this makes sense to buy in my opinion. Like we've seen in the past, Jumia likes to cool off and it is looking overdue for a pushback, so don't be afraid to buy more on a pushback. Okay, folks, so before we get into this week's plays, I do want to give you a quick warning. Sadly, there's a lot of fake Charlie impersonators going on YouTube and different forms of social media and trying to scam people. The most common ones are probably the ones in the comment section, like this trash panda here. Charlie supposedly says, "Thanks for commenting. I will refer you to trade analyst and accountant to make good income. Do well to let him know I referred you to him." My English may be pretty bad for a native speaker, but it's not that bad. Please, folks, do not fall for fake Charlies. I promise you your hands are already full enough with the real Charlie. And make sure if you see me respond to your comment on YouTube or another social media platform that you see the little check mark next to my name, because if not, it's probably a fake account. But anyways, folks, the only thing the real Charlie asks in return for this video is that you hit that ravishing like button, and also don't forget to subscribe either. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with Clove. So my price target on this play is about $20. My price target on this play is $20. If you could snap this up at any price below 12 to 13 bucks this week, I see that as making a lot of sense. This is a $20 play, so that gives a lot of upside. Clover Health is a new age, next generation, tech-oriented provider of Medicare Advantage health insurance plans. It recently came onto the market via SPAC and was popped up by Pop-Up Polly, our favorite SPAC king. As we know, Pop-Up Polly is known for finding insane growth opportunities, and he's led us to success with other plays. And we have some other ongoing plays with him, such as iPod and iPoth. Definitely a finance superstar right now, and people love following what he does because of his track record. So on Thursday, when the famous short seller Hindenburg accused the king of SPACs of luring retail investors into Clover, which they said was a broken business model, well, then we saw 2 rapid days of hemorrhaging. It was then announced that the SEC is looking into the company as well, and oftentimes short seller reports that have a huge impact on a stock's price will often be followed by SEC investigations into the alleged company. But anyways, because of my evaluation of Clover Health before this even happened, and because of my take on Pop-Up Polly and what his endorsement means and what his leadership means and his track record, and my personal opinion that because of his popularity, he's become a huge target for short sellers, well, that led me to putting out a briefing on Friday where I said Clove is under investigation by SEC after a hit piece by short sellers showing some signs of correcting. Will this whole thing become an overreaction? And then, of course, as we saw on that Friday, towards the end of the day, bounced pretty nicely. The thing is that when it comes to the stock market, people panic first and then ask questions second. And you can see that's exactly what happened when it came to this trading on Thursday and Friday. But people see bad headlines and surface negativity and they're like, oh my God, sell, sell, sell. And then afterwards they actually ask the question like, was this really worth the sale? And it usually wasn't. In terms of the actual short seller report, I took some time to read it when it came out, and then I took some time to read it again over the weekend. I don't know why I waste my time reading these short seller reports, but honestly, a lot of it was just complete garbage. In my opinion, a lot of the times what the short seller's goal is not so much to cast legitimate doubt on a company, but rather to look for the weaknesses in the company, tie together one fact that could be actually damaging to the company, and then make this entire web of negativity. That then goes and convinces weak investors that didn't know what the hell they were investing in the first place to go and panic sell. And this is what we saw on Thursday and Friday, and this is what we've seen many times in the past. I've said this before, but if you're the type of person that is buying something and you didn't actually do any due diligence on it, then no matter what happens, you're going to panic every single time a bad catalyst comes out. And that's why you need to be doing your due diligence on these plays. But anyways, I read through the Hindenburg report because they've actually had some good reports in the past. I don't automatically assume that all short sellers are bad and out for their own good, although they are bad and out for their own good. But in the past, I've told you guys when I've agreed with Hindenburg, such as when they did that piece on Nikola many months ago. Back then, and much to the disdain of my viewers who hate short sellers, I said this report makes a lot of sense. I didn't agree with everything back then, but I said overall, this is a legitimate hit piece. But when it came to this report, this is just complete garbage. Some of the more ridiculous claims they had were Clover giving gift cards to doctors and nurses, and they tried to say that's part of a huge web of deception. Companies like Dunkin' Donuts and Panera and Amazon. Oh my God, Clover bribed me with donuts. Oh my God, they bribed me with overpriced soup from Panera. Yes, honestly, $20 for a cup of soup is expensive. But systematically deceptive sales practices? Are you kidding me? Yes, it seems like there's a little bit of a gray area as to what companies can give doctors and nurses, and maybe Clover Health deserves a penalty for this, but really, systematically misleading practices? They also spend a lot of time debunking subjective claims. For example, Clover claims its software delights physicians, and Hindenburg is like, well, actually, that can't be true because no doctor would be delighted to pay $200 per visit to use its software. What did they do? Go ask the doctors, were you delighted by Clover? Were you delighted? And then if they frown a little bit, they're like, he wasn't delighted. But most of the more credible points in Hindenburg's research was that they said that Clover is under investigation by the DOJ and that Clover wasn't completely straightforward about that. And when you hear that a company that you're investing in is under investigation by the DOJ, you panic, obviously. But you don't consider that, hey, wait a second, this is a company in health services, health insurance, health. That's one of the most regulated sectors. I would be shocked if you didn't have constant probes. Any US company that is doing what Clover is doing should have tons and tons of informational requests from regulators. I think that's a good thing. Don't you want your companies to be beholden to you? But what Hindenburg does, in my opinion, is that they go and they say, okay, well, look, they've been in contact with the Department of Justice. And they take that to extrapolate all of these other claims of weaknesses of the business so that you can pair the two together and say, hey, this is a terrible company. This is a fraud. Meanwhile, Clover has done a great job of refuting these claims, as well as Pop-Up Polly himself, who responded over Twitter refuting these as well and said, dedicate yourself to the process. It's also worth noting that the general counsel for Clover actually worked for the Department of Justice. I'm sure that you dedicate yourself to the mission of the Department of Justice only to go and screw the Department of Justice at Clover. Obviously not, folks. Clover is a company with great growth potential, but it's in a very regulated field and it should be very regulated. Expect Clover not to be perfect. Expect Pop-Up Polly not to be perfect. I think it's very possible that Clover goofed up a little bit in terms of their PR when it came to disclosing the DOJ investigation and how that was being handled. I think they might find some other things that weren't done correctly or by the books, as you would with any new company, especially in this type of sector. But overall, Clover is a real company with real potential. And I think once this overall panic ends, whenever that may be, if that's in a couple of weeks or not, I think this is a great deal. My price target on this is about $20. If you can get this below 13, below 12, below 11, that's fantastic. Okay, next, Palantir. Now I know I just talked about this one on Friday's video. We explained basically that with the constant flow of new partnerships, value adds from current held contracts and partnerships, that I finally made the judgment call to set this at a $55 price target. And accordingly, if you can snap this up in the low 30s or cheaper, this makes sense to buy in my opinion. As you know, one of the purposes of setting price targets is so that you can see the bigger picture. That way when you get short-term panics or short-term sell-offs, then you can take advantage and buy at the dip instead of freak out and go cry to the short sellers. But the way that I see it is that we already know that PLTR can easily rally up to 45 on pure hype around partnerships and demo reveals. Imagine what it can do if we get a few more big partnerships. And I think that based on the pace of what we're doing right now, it won't be too long before we see more partnerships. Remember, PLTR's announcement of an extended partnership with BP meant an increase in like 9%. In terms of the company itself, I think that PLTR, Palantir, is very, very misunderstood. When you're a big data company that is running the data operations and driving decisions for some of the most powerful institutions in the world, not only does that speak volume about your competence, but it also expands your own field of influence. So PLTR, in my opinion, is a must buy in the low 30s if you get that chance. I see this going to 55, and that's my official price target. Okay, lastly, Corsair Gaming. Now this is going to be another one of your homework plays. I'm not going to say if I like it or I don't like it, but I will tell you that there's an earnings coming out on Tuesday in the pre-market. So tonight or Monday, do some research into this company, whether you think the earnings are going to be good, whether you think they're going to be bad. What is your outlook for this stock? Look into the leadership. Look at the competitors. Where are they trading in regards to the market cap in comparison to Corsair? Are our analyst monkey friends projecting that Corsair Gaming's earnings are going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Do you think it's going to get beat down if it's good or bad? Do you think that it's already factored in the earnings? Do some research on that and then let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, folks, that finishes off the video. Go ahead and comment below what tickers you'd like me to cover in tomorrow's video or at the end of tomorrow's video, and I'll go ahead and cover that. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us below as well. You can also join us on ZipTrader Circle. If you'd like to get some free stocks and sign up with a great broker, we do have a link to Webull below. If you'd like to learn how to trade, would like access to our price targets, our daily morning briefings, and of course our private chat, I'll go ahead and put the link to ZipTrader U in the description below. Of course, only join us if you're ready to put the work in. We don't want people joining and then not using the resources. Anyways, folks, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.